The last time I met with you, I introduced you to Google Sketchup, and I left you with this video for you to follow. But what I'm going to do in this is I'm going to follow the video myself and show you some of the problems I had and some of the things you might want to look out for. So, the first one, he calls this guy Mike, and he calls this a reference point because you can see how big he is. You can see the horizon. So the first thing he recommends you doing is there is the select tool over here. When I hover over it, it does say select. He calls this guy Mike, so I'm going to click on Mike, and all he's saying is click your delete key to get rid of him. In this next step, he's asking you to create the body. So we're going over to here, and you'll notice this rectangle, but what they're not showing you is that there is a hidden menu behind it with 5 different choices. So we want a circle. We'll click the circle. We'll go down to here. This is the origin, and just bring it out. And he's saying go up on the green line. Now I'm just going to type 36 and click return, and there it is. I have a 36 radius. Now down here at the bottom it says radius 36, so I followed the directions on that one. On this next one, he's asking you to click on the view icon, and it's right down here. I'll click on view, and there are 9 choices. We want to click the one in the middle. And now our circle, it's like we're looking right down on it. Now I can, if I go up here and I want to get rid of this, I found this to be a problem. I couldn't quite figure out, but now when I go over it, I can see the X. Also, while I'm talking, if you want to move the video, you can move it around. But what you have to be very careful of is not clicking the video, and I recommend not expanding it. I had trouble with that, so don't expand it and don't close it. You'll be all set. Now, the next thing he recommended was going back over to here. And again, we're going to click on the circles, and we're going to use these reference points. So I'm going to go out. These are going to be our legs. So there's one there, and I'm clicking one here, and I'm trying to make them about the same size. And I'm going out and down here. And the last one, which is this point right here, he's talking about building a head. And I'm going to go out and click, and I'll hit return. And I think I pretty much followed this. The next thing he's asking us to do is to use the eraser tool. So I'll go over here and click on it. It's the second one down below the arrow. And we want to erase inside of here. It's pretty cool that you just click on that half and it erases it. Now I'm going to stop right here. Oh, before I do stop, I want to mention the fact that he mentioned saving it. Google has really spoiled us when it comes to saving. Periodically, every few minutes or anytime you make some major changes, you want to save it just in case something happens. So get used to saving it in Sketchup. For this next one, in the video, he mentions the offset tool, but I think this is confusing because when I go down here and I hover over any one of these, I don't see one that's called offset. But if you click on the push-pull, you have 3 options, and one of them is the offset. There it goes. You can see it. So I'm going to click on the offset. I'm going in here, and I'm going to go back. And again, the cool thing about this is I can type in 6 and hit return. And now he doesn't quite mention this, but you want a 6-inch offset. So again, we're looking down onto a sandbox, and you might want to think about this as a plastic layer going around it that's 6 inches wide. The next thing he's going to have us do is return to the eraser. So we'll click here, and he is asking us to clean up some of these lines. So you can look over here and you can see what I am getting rid of. Very cool how I'm just clicking on them. I don't have to worry about going over and erasing other lines, but that's all there is to it up until this point. And the next thing we want to do is go over to this tool. It's right at the bottom. It's called the Orbit tool. And what we are going to do is start to see this more in a 3D manner. So I'm clicking around it, trying to flatten it out a little bit. At this point, I go up, and remember when we use the offset tool, originally it was the push-pull. We're going to go to this, click on the push-pull, and we are going to bring it up, and I'm going to type in the number 12. Hit return. Now this is now 12 inches high. This will be the area that we're going to put the sand in. The next thing we want to do is click on the head and bring that up. And again, we want to type in the number 12, or I think in the video he says you can click on any endpoint and they're all 12 inches. Little problem here. So I'm going to bring it up, get it down to where it is, click return, and I am done. Now I want to click save on this. Make sure this is saved. Now this next part I had some difficulty with. You would think it would be easy. He went over and he pointed over to here, and this is called the paint, but he called it colors. And when it came up with me, I had to go over to here and click on this box. It looks like a box with some checkers at the end of it. And then I had to go, this is originally what came up, and I'm not seeing a green here. That disappointed me, so I clicked on the magnifying glass, which is browse, and I went down, I clicked on colors, and if I scroll down, I ought to be able to find a turtle green. So I'm going to click on that. So there's my color now, and I am hoping that when I go into here, yeah, here it goes. So this is good. Everything I'm painting is turning that green color. Now he mentioned also going down and using the orb tool and looking around like, yeah, there's something right inside of here I did not get. So I need to go back to my paint tool, my paint bucket, and I can continue, and then there's one spot I would not have seen, and I can use my orb tool to go back. And if I want to get rid of this, I have to go up here. Again, this is a bit confusing, so I'm clicking right here to get rid of this. I can go back in now. I'm going to save it, and I'm going to do a pause, and we'll go back to the video, and the next thing he's going to have us do is get ready to put some sand in here. So we're going back to this tool over here, And no, I'm sorry. We're going to go back to the push-pull tool. We're going to click right on the belly here, and we're going to bring it up. But all we have to do is type in the number 6, hit return. This area is now 6 inches higher inside here. At this point, we're ready to add some sand, and you can see it's been added over here. But again, a little bit confusing. We're going to go back to the materials, to the block that looks like it has some squares at the end of it. Click on it, and we're going to go down and find one called landscaping. But notice all these colors are still here. So I'm going to simplify things by clicking on this little arrow. I'm looking for landscaping, fencing, and vegetation. I'm going to go down. At this point, we're going to add a beach ball. And you can see inside of his video, there's a beach ball here. He mentions going to this. It's called the component. Looks like 3 blocks. I'm going to click on it. And he mentioned you had to type in Sketchup for schools. You don't have to. Just typing in beach ball will do it. Hit the return key. Now, I made the mistake of clicking on one of these down below, and it was way too big. So I'm just going to click on the second one. It's going to download. Yeah, and this is perfect. So I'm putting in a beach ball. One more thing before I end this. I want to do a save now. It's pretty important. I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to save. And I've become spoiled with Google. But in the last thing, he mentioned the ball going down to here. Right above one looks like a tape measure. And if I go over here, yours may have this move tool. But down below, there's one called Scale right here. If I click on here, now this is doing something I'm not happy with. It's clicking on the outside of the whole thing. My guess is I could make this. Yeah, and I don't want to do this. So I'm going to go back to here, do my Select tool, and I'm going to select the ball. Go to the scale. Yeah, there it is. And I can make the ball as big or small as I want to. And go back to the select tool. I'm not sure why it has these blue lines around it. A lot of things I'm not familiar with this, but I want you to have some fun with this. So here I am, over and out.